Welcome back to the thrilling crime-solving journey of Xu Qi'an in the Nightwatcher, Chapter 63. Xu Qi'an, a chance to turn the tide. Focus inward as you ascend. Head straight to the highest floor. Song Dingfeng instructed, gesturing toward the staircase. This step doesn't require any special preparation. But remember, stay true to yourself. If you try to fake it, you'll stumble. What's the point of scoring? Xu Qi'an replied, curiosity piqued. Why do you think we assess your potential? Points range from 4 tiers. Jia, Yi, Bing, Ding. The better your aptitude, the more focused the cultivation. I'm a Yi, Song Dingfeng said with a hint of pride. I'm a Bing, echoed Zhou Guangshou in a deep voice. I'm top tier. Xu Qi'an smirked at himself and climbed the stairs alone. When he reached the second floor, he noticed a polished bronze mirror hanging from a red pillar, its ancient design catching his attention. The mirror reflected his image, and Xu Qi'an's heart quickened. He instinctively tensed up, only to gradually relax again. Thoughts of ambition faded, leaving behind a calm mindset unperturbed by greed or desire. This mirror. Something felt off. As realization settled, a compulsion to reflect on his character overwhelmed him. He walked lightly around the corner and into the second floor hall, which was adorned with a serene statue of a revered Buddha, its form exuding an aura of profound majesty. Incense wafted in the air, mingling with offerings neatly arranged on the altar. Beside the altar, a clerk observed him with a keen gaze. Xu Qi'an took a moment to contemplate the statue before shifting his focus and ascending to the third floor. There, he found the Taoist god, cloaked in traditional robes, wielding a sword and standing upon ethereal clouds. A clerk stood before the statue, silently assessing Xu Qi'an as he approached. Pausing briefly, Xu Qi'an turned away, prompting the clerk to unfurl a scroll and write notes of evaluation. Up to the fourth floor he went, where the Confucian sage adorned in scholarly robes gazed into the distance. Another clerk watched Xu Qi'an closely. This statue resembled one he'd seen in the Yunlux library. Xu Qi'an felt a mix of reverence and detachment as he left. He climbed to the fifth and final floor. The room was dedicated to a regal figure clad in resplendent golden robes, one hand grasping a sword, his eyes fierce. Xu Qi'an didn't recognize this historical figure, but the golden dragon robe told him all he needed to know. He was likely a king of the Great Phoenix dynasty, perhaps even its founding emperor. At that moment, the significance of the introspection took shape in his mind. Assessing potential was just one aspect. The true purpose was to evaluate moral character. The mirror served as a conduit, forcing individuals to act in accordance with their inner truths, rendering any pretense during worship impossible. Not bowing to the Buddha, Taoist god, or sage would that brand him as irreverent. While the other figures may be forgiving, bowing to the king on this floor was an absolute necessity. To stand without paying respects in this era would be to invite ruin. The Dakong Ren organization was no mere security force. It was an undercover arm of the emperor. Disrespecting the trinity of teachings was one matter, but disloyalty to the throne was treasonous. Thus, this introspection became a moral filtering mechanism. Xu Qi'an was acutely aware that his journey through the 5 floors without bowing would flag him as unworthy. A faithless individual like him would be expelled from the Dakong Ren's ranks. But what troubled him more was that they knew of his past misdeeds against Zhou Libo. Who knew if that secret would rear its head? Thoughts swirled, rising and then retreating like waves on a beach. Xu Qi'an felt trapped, battling the conflicting demands of his conscience, his body rigid with tension. The clerk before the regal statue scrutinized him before gliding past and descending the stairs. Minutes dragged on before the clerk returned, finding Xu Qi'an still standing tense and trembling like a bowstring pulled tight. with an expression resembling that of a connoisseur regarding a rare specimen. The clerk said, "I've just discussed your evaluations with the others." When Lord Wei established this introspection, he declared that anyone who fails to bow over 5 levels is undoubtedly a villain of the highest order. "Please, give me another chance," Xu Qi'an interjected, anxiety flooding him. To be fair, Lord Wei has granted an additional opportunity. He's established a 6th level, but no one has ever reached it, the clerk replied, fixing Xu Qi'an with a look of both admiration and surprise. "You, my friend, are the first unique in your own right. Relax. Don't keep tensing up," he advised. Finally easing his resistance, Xu Qi'an adjusted his breathing and felt his muscles relax, realizing he was soaked in sweat. He followed the clerk past the towering statue into the deeper sanctum of the hall. Sunlight streamed through intricately carved windows, casting delicate patterns on the wooden platform, which bore a poem engraved upon it. "Slaughter 100,000 foes. Keep your bloody sword at hand. Return, with golden sabers and palms. Even the court must not disdain." It exuded such bravado. But what did it mean? Xu Qi'an considered slipping a handful of silver notes to the clerk for insight but stopped short. This man was merely a clerk. He couldn't expect him to comprehend the thoughts of a powerful eunuch like Wei Yuan. Shoving aside selfish impulses, Xu Qi'an concluded that poetry wasn't the challenge here. The introspection pertained to moral thought. Why had Wei Yuan placed this poem here? If the 6th level was for those without honor, who held no reverence for gods or ancestors, it must offer one final chance. Thus, he needed to unearth some noble quality within himself, or perish. He sought the essence of lofty principles. In that moment, he recalled the couplet from the great hall below. Willing to sacrifice without regret, seeking no profit nor gain for self. As enforcers of honesty, the Dakong Ren's role was to oversee officials, making this poem reverberate deeply. It revealed Wei Yuan's intentions. He wasn't here to duel in poetry but to find kindred spirits. A faithless individual might confront their true self but would falter in crafting a poem that expressed agreement with the virtues extolled. If one could indeed succeed in such a test, marked by virtue, Wei Yuan would be willing to extend them a second chance. Xu Qi'an took a deep breath and raised his hand. "Let me apply my words." The clerk offered him a brush, and sheets of fine zond paper lay ready for his ink. With a quiet intensity, Xu Qi'an closed his eyes as he began to write, unafraid of his own convictions. "In this world, no king lies above me. Nor gods nor sages warrant my bow. Yet I am not a villain without creed. I bear justice within, adhere to principles loyal. The common folk are not meat for the slaughter. Those on high can often deceive. I will not abuse the power I hold, even if society welcomes greed like a friend." The clerk stood astonished, staring at Xu Qi'an's words. After collecting the poem, he fixed Xu Qi'an with a serious gaze. "The introspection concludes here. You are free to go, but until the results are finalized, you must remain in the premises. Every Dakong Ren's qualifications require Lord Wei's final say." "I'll present this to him," the clerk remarked, practically sprinting down the stairs, his footsteps echoing in the distance. Exhausted, Xu Qi'an leaned against the wooden platform, gasping for breath before making his descent. Song Dingfeng and Zhou Guangshou were waiting at the foot of the stairs. Upon spotting Xu Qi'an, Dingfeng grinned and waved. "How many times did you bow?" His smile resembled that of a cunning fox. The clerks had yet to share the details of evaluation or outcomes with him. Xu Qi'an opened his mouth but found no words to articulate his experience. Zhou Guangshou raised an eyebrow. "You don't look too great." "Too great?" It felt like he'd crawled back from the edge of death. More intense than a rollercoaster ride. Exhaustion knitted Xu Qi'an's brow. I just need a place to sit and sip tea for a spell. Song Dingfeng waggled his brows playfully. Want me to fetch you a lovely lady to massage your shoulders and feet? 2. Your imagination runs wild, Xu Qi'an chuckled, nodding. Let's pull in the enchanting Pei Huan from the Education Bureau. Song Dingfeng paused mid-laugh. I've had dreams like that before. Chapter 64. The Major Cultivation Sects. At the heart of the Dagong Ren estate stood the towering Zheng Qi Tower. Its peaked roof rising like a spear towards the heavens. The graceful, curved eaves twisting around the structure like protective arms. From the 4th floor, a winding corridor offered a sweeping view of the main hall and, further up, the 5th and 6th floors revealed the entire estate. Within the elegant confines of the tower, a figure garnered the attention of many in the martial world. Known as Wei Qingyi, the young man within its walls exuded an air of both elegance and mystery. Dressed in a flowing blue robe adorned with intricate cloud patterns, he reclined comfortably on a soft bed, the gentle light of day framing him like an ethereal illustration from a storybook. His dark hair, fastened with a jade pin, contrasted with the silver wisps gracing his temples. His complexion was pale, devoid of facial hair, and his deep-set eyes bore the weight of time and experience, shadows of a life lived among secrets. Wei Yuan was a man possessing a rare blend of grace and poise, outwardly charming yet enigmatically serious. In the tea room, 2 others attended to him. One was an austere gentleman whose rigid features resembled a sculpted statue, betraying no hint of emotion. The other was more flamboyant, his strikingly handsome face framed by delicately arched brows and lush lashes. His lips painted a beguiling shade of red that made one question his true gender. The handsome man stood basking under the warm sunlight, one hand idly resting on the hilt of a sword at his waist. Such bright sunshine on a clear day surely. Enjoying the view here is more delightful than being stuck indoors with a book, he quipped. Wei Yuan set his book aside, a faint chuckle escaping him. My time for reading has grown scarce. I recently heard that the Tianjian Bureau acquired a new book bound in white chronicling the very essence of heaven and earth. It has piqued my curiosity. The serious man simply grunted in acknowledgement, his expression unwavering. Yuan, in a week, the emperor will hold a ritual for the ancestors. Pass along the order, urgent patrols in the inner city, and restrict movement within. The handsome man furrowed his brows. Uncle, aren't you even considering putting forward a candidate for the Hu Shilang position? Certain concessions must be made here. Wei Yuan's eyes drifted to the door as a man in a blue official's robe entered, bowing respectfully. Lord Wei, I bring the records and assessment results of the latest talents. Please review them. The official produced a stack of documents. Flipping through the records, Wei Yuan's gaze sharpened as he found a name among the list. Xu Qi'an, a renowned constable from Chongqing County. Talented lineage. Both his father and uncle hailed from military backgrounds. What's significant is that as a Dagong Ren, one must have at least 3 generations of unblemished ancestry. Xu Qi'an fits this criterion, having been born and raised in the capital. Wei Yuan noted, satisfied. He continued skimming through the documents, revealing results of an intelligence test. A smile danced on his lips. Tian Ruo, when you solved the questions, how many breaths did you take? The exotic-looking man tilted his chin, his eyes sparkling. 15 breaths, while Yang Yan took 19. And Xu Qi'an? A mere 12 breaths. Impressive, isn't it? The pretty man smiled, though his brow furrowed in thought. He managed to uncover the tax fraud in a short span, clearly sharp-witted. Wei Yuan's gaze remained fixed on the notes. Interestingly, it took the man delivering the documents about 5 breaths to react. No way, the handsome man exclaimed, moving closer to examine the evidence. Yang Yan merely frowned, contemplating the implication. The audacity of Xu Qi'an. Only 7 breaths to process the situation. What keen insight. Yang Yan stood with conviction. Uncle, I want him on my team. He's already under the patronage of Liu. Liu Xuan, Wei Yuan replied, placing down his teacup. You've seen him before, at the Tianjian Bureau. The Tianjian Bureau? The alluring man mused. Recognition dawning. Is he the audacious brat making waves? Yang Yan nodded, visibly pleased at Xu Qi'an's connection to Liu Xuan. Uncle, what's his combat capability? He inquired eagerly. We'll find out shortly. He's at the peak of the Lianxi stage, so no need for further assessment. Wei Yuan noted with a calm smile. This one was recommended by the crown princess herself. I sense great potential in him and have afforded him a unique position with the Dagongren. The crown princess. Both Yang Yan and the handsome man exchanged glances, surprised by this revelation. As Wei Yuan continued examining the evaluation results, his demeanor shifted from genial to grave, culling focus from the gradual flow of time. Without missing a beat, Yang Yan leaned closer, intrigued. The handsome man joined, peering over to see an unexpected twist in the reports. He truly is more audacious than I am. Uncle, how will you deal with this? A smirk twinkled in Wei Yuan's eyes as he revealed the final note, ragged handwritten lines that seared the room with their bitterness. The food you consume is bountiful. Your blood comes from the weak. The weak are easy to bully. Yet the heavens are not so easily deceived. Slowly, the unsettling weight of the words sank in. Yang Yan read aloud, his brow furrowing. The weak are easy to bully. The heavens are hard to dupe. By the gods. This youth believes that his feasts are drawn from the sweat and blood of commoners, and not the emperor's bounty. What are your thoughts? Wei Yuan prompted. Yang Yan paused, weighing his words. Eating from the king's table comes with responsibility. He implies a rebellious spirit against the privileges of the court. He has a point, Wei Yuan noted coolly. When this boy ascends to the Jinla stage, you'll have your chance to debate his perspective with him directly. Yang Yan raised an eyebrow. Do you think he could ever truly become a Jinla? As long as he continues improving, that will not be an issue. Every rule within the sects holds a kernel of truth, Wei Yuan replied. The martial cries of those who wield power may be coarse, but they're not to be underestimated. The bravest warriors, those who are undeterred, reshape the realms. As he spoke, Wei Yuan retrieved a fresh inkstone from beneath the table, blending vermilion ink for his brush. He meticulously penned 2 characters onto the document. Jia Shang, Ascendant. A true warrior despises authority and gives rise to the freedom of the realm. A true hero champions the people. This assessment marked Xu Qi'an among the rare few, a coveted evaluation since the inception of the Dagongren. In a secret chamber, Liu Xuan gestured toward a wooden tub. Strip and step in. Finally, it was time for Xu Qi'an to step into the Qi training stage. Suppressing a rush of exhilaration, he glanced at the tub filled with a pungent green liquid. This concoction, known as cleansing fluid, boasted a price of around 150 silver taels. With haste, he shed his clothes and lowered himself into the cauldron. Liu Xuan's eyebrow arched. You haven't broken through yet, right? Xu Qi'an confirmed. My uncle, the 100 guards of the imperial sword, told me that breaking through before reaching the Qi training stage would be unwise. Settling in, he relaxed, inquiring, so, you're at the spirit refinement stage? Indeed, Liu Xuan acknowledged. And after the spirit refinement comes the iron skin stage? Yes. Correct. Xu Qi'an chuckled. Such an unappealing name. Why not call it the diamond stage? The term iron-skinned sounds so provincial. Almost as if we're uncultured brutes. That's what the Buddhist sects call it. Li Yuxuan clarified. Aha. Xu Qi'an nodded, eager to learn more. So, Master, what cultivation system reigns supreme across the land? Without a doubt, the Taoist sects are the strongest. Li Yuxuan answered without hesitation. What about the others? Each sect claims superiority for itself. Li Yuxuan replied, shrugging. Ah, I see, Xu Qi'an murmured. Though all the cultivation systems share one consensus, martial practitioners are the most unsophisticated. They are the weakest. Deemed unworthy of even mention. That, I knew, Xu Qi'an remarked. Martial artists are known for their brute strength, lacking the divine complexities. That's merely the surface level. Li Yuxuan corrected him. Within it lie deeper secrets, ones tied to the highest realms of cultivation. Xu Qi'an straightened, leaning in with curiosity. Can you reveal them to me, Master?
Thanks for listening till the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next chapter.